Yeah, I can hear you. I can't see. You might have to turn on your camera, like the bottom left. There's a mute button and a camera button. Yes. How are you doing?
Good, you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Very well. It's a beautiful sunny day here in London, isn't it?
I mean, only a British person would find this a beautiful sunny day.
I think you've got to take the weather when you can in the UK. They can't, don't you really? Yeah. So how are you doing? Because I know you've been training with Matt on the chess. He's very
Yeah,
complimentary about your improvement.
yeah. He gave me the sniper book,
Oh, right.
but
So is that
turns out I'm playing white. So
okay? Well, that's good, isn't it?
yeah,
Um,
because it was a risky. He told me it worked really well for him, but I think he's a much better player than I am. So like, I think he probably thrives in chaos and confusion.
mm.
Whereas I think if my position is not solid, I'll probably like make a bunch of other mistakes.
Yeah, I guess it could put more pressure on you if you don't
Yeah.
really comprehend the position you're in. What does that mean, sniper? Does that mean it's kind of like queen traps and sort of sharp tactical ideas?
So the sniper is so for black basically it's g6 and then you put the bishop on that and the bishop is the sniper and honestly I've been using it on like quick games online.
Hmm.
There is always a moment where the person forgets that the bishop is there, so it works really well and then paf you get a rook or something.
Okay.
um, so it does work on like casual games and blitz and things like this. I don't know how
It sounds like it's ideal for chess boxing because obviously, yeah, I think you're much more likely to blunder, aren't you? Just in general, because you're tired and there's a lot going on, and it's tough to concentrate, isn't it, after the first round of boxing?
yeah. I hope,
How are
because
you
she
finding?
is much better than I am at chess.
Yeah. So
From
what's your elo?
um, I think on chess.com I'm probably like 12, 1300.
Right. So Juliana, so your opponent's Juliana Baron. She's about 1700, I think. But
Yeah.
she's been as high as nearly 2000, I think, in her career. When she
Oh
was a
wow.
junior player, yeah. So she's quite a bit older than you. I don't know if you know that. I think there's about 15 years difference in terms of age.
Okay.
You aware of that? How do you think that might play out?
On the chess or on the boxing? I
Well,
think it.
either really. I mean, clearly she's a better chess player, so you're going to have to try and manage that carefully so that you want to get as many boxing rounds in as possible, presumably.
Yeah. Because basically my only way is to win on the boxing.
Well, yes and no, because obviously your chess is affected by the boxing. So if you can do well in the boxing, you can also unsettle her chess game as well.
Yeah, but like the probability of her doing a massive blunder that she cannot recover from, because like if I'm playing against someone who's like 1900, even if they lose the bishop, that does not ensure that I will win the game.
Okay.
Um,
So
so if
yeah.
I'm being realistic, unless her blunder is like a queen, then I'm like, yay.
Okay. So
um,
so you're saying that you're basically going all out for a knockout.
yes.
Okay. And
Is
what's
this
your
podcast going to be published before the fight? Because I don't want her to know my strategy.
well, I mean, I don't know how complex the strategy is saying that I'm going to knock you out, but it will go out. So what I'm hoping is that this will go out before, and then we'll also interview you afterwards as well to see how it went.
Okay.
But I've also interviewed her, so that will go out, and you'll be able to listen to that. So hopefully that will both give you a little bit of an insight into each other. So if you're going to knock her out, Murray, what's your experience in terms of combat sports? That's your area of strength, isn't it? Really?
To be honest, it's not so much that the strategy is so strong. It's just that I really don't think, unless something happens that is really, uh, unexpected, like unless she really blunders or that day she's playing very poorly, I don't think I can win other chess. And also, I don't think 300-400 points are something like it's a gap I can bridge in 3 months. So like I have to say, it did not work that much on the chess.
Okay.
And like you can't do both. I mean, you can do both if you have a real hope of winning on one or the other. But like in my case, I know that I just need to not lose too fast on the chess, and I'm aiming all for the boxing.
Great. Yeah. So that's
And yes, since the boxing is only by a knockout, I guess I have to go.
yeah. Well,
Aggressive.
I mean, that's. I mean, it sounds like it's going to be incredibly entertaining. Um, and I spoke to, in fact, the podcast should be coming out this weekend. Burke Rudd, who's fighting another guy from Norway called Nikolai, and he's doing the same thing. So he's trying to make sure he's solid in the chess, knows what he's doing, slowing the chess down so that he gets at least 2 or 3 rounds of boxing, because that's where he thinks he'll be able to make some inroads, which is totally a valid tactic.
But the thing is, it's not easy to get a knockout though. Like, and I've seen her. I've seen like the video you sent me. She's quite an aggressive fighter as well. So I don't think she'll just like. First of all, she looks quite fit. And we're not professional fighters. Like, I would love to put a liver shot and tell you no problem, she'll be on the floor. But but I doubt that will happen. And she's quite aggressive. I think she has great combat spirit. So I also don't think she'll, turtle up and just get punched in the face in the ropes and the referee will stop it. So as much as this is what I'm going for, I don't think it's, I'm not that hopeful.
I mean, I think you're well matched. I think you're right. I think Juliana has got an edge on the chess. I think you'd be surprised at how much the boxing will affect your chess, but also obviously it works both ways. So you won't play the best chess you've ever played, and nor will she. And it's just a question of managing the transitions in particular when you sit down after that boxing round. And I'm sure you've been practicing that, because I know Matt's been working with you on that. And I think you can probably make up about 200 points in terms of chess with a really spirited and dominating boxing performance. But you're right, Juliana's got experience. I think she
did what, 5 fights?
She did 1 exhibition in Germany. She's done 1 in Italy, and then she did 1 in Turkey about 2 weeks ago. So she's had 2 fights plus an exhibition, as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
That's in chess boxing. So she has got experience.
Other things? She did other things but chess boxing, or just chess boxing?
I think as a junior she did combat sports as well, but I don't know to what level. I think she only really does chess boxing now. Although she, like I said, she was a very good junior chess player as well. I think she lived in Ireland for a while and competed at quite a high level. Okay. But also, I think I've been looking at your stats just preparing for this conversation, because you're well matched in terms of weight and height, but you've got a slightly longer reach. I don't know if you are aware. I think you've got like 10 centimeter, according to the stats, 10 centimeters more reach, which basically means 5 centimeters per arm. So there's a opportunity.
Did I ever measure my arms, or do you base it on my height?
You sent me the information, so maybe
I just sent you my height. I don't think I sent you my reach.
Oh right, okay. Well, maybe you don't then. Because
I mean, I don't know.
Because usually it's.
I have something here.
It's usually
Should I measure it?
Your reach is about the same. Oh yeah, great. Let's do that.
Should I do this?
Yeah.
Is this okay?
So it's
from where?
Fingertip. You might need someone else to help you. How many?
Okay. I do like this. Okay. 147, 148.
Okay, let me just have a look. Oh no, you've got to be more than that. Yeah, so if she's 158. Okay, well, that doesn't. I'm sure you must be. I think you need to get someone else to do it.
Do you have to push the fingertips, or?
It's right to the fingertips.
Okay, let's see.
It's a good job this goes out as a video, because this is going to be terrible listening.
Okay, 55.
Okay, that's about, well, that's roughly this. Maybe you've got roughly the same reach then. What else do you know? Do you know anything else about your opponent? Like, have you studied her openings and that kind of stuff? Because you're black now. Is that right? So you should.
No, I'm white.
Oh, you're white, are you? Okay. Sorry, I forget. There's quite a few bouts, but okay. In which case, you don't have to worry about her opening at all. Then
Yeah.
you can drive the chess game, which is good, isn't it? Um. So I've got a few other questions. Have you got anything else on the fight? Your opponent? I know you've got a lot of people coming to watch you.
Yeah. Actually, not that many because when I was like, oh, it's maybe time to book the tickets, they were all sold out.
Oh
So
no.
I scrambled to get a few.
What's the story behind your ring name? So your ring name is Killer Queen Marie.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's fairly self-explanatory. Or do you like to use a queen trap, or is it just obviously you're a female chess boxer? It's interesting.
I kind of wanted like something that had like a bit of violence in it and something that had a bit of chess in it. My other options weren't as impactful, so I thought this one was good.
Okay, because it's interesting because your ring name has got queen in it, and she's got baron or baroness. So
I know you like that.
I do like it. Some sort of feudal thing going on, and it's obviously very sort of linked to chess as well. And have you got any? Because I've seen some photographs of you when we were preparing for the previous event, and you had some tattoos. Are they temporary? Are they real? Are you going to be having any tattoos this time around?
Yes, I'm planning on getting a friend to make a full sleeve.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And is that going to be?
So I got I got like a tattoo marker.
Mhm. Oh, so they're going to design it on your arm. They're going to do it on your arm.
Yeah.
Wow.
I want a full
Okay.
sleeve.
So they must be quite talented, are they?
Well, yeah, I just it's someone from the studios, an
Okay.
artist as well.
Well, that was another thing I was
So
going to ask you about is what do you do? Because every time I see you on social media, there's some painting or some sort of piece of art that you're working on. Can you talk to us about that a little bit?
I'm a painter, so
Okay. And what kind of stuff do you do? Like, what's your particular area?
so in terms of medium, I like printmaking a lot, but mostly painting, and usually figurative. And in terms of, I prefer oil, but it depends. Like I'm okay with the acrylics, inks, and things like this. But I think oil is something I prefer to paint with. And
Okay.
then figurative storytelling is a big thing for me. So I like things to be a bit narrative.
Okay. So that you like your art to have a story sort of interwoven into what's going on.
Whether it's for me or for like it's not necessarily something that is obvious, but I think it helps me create. I like to have parameters and I like to have like some kind of narrative aspect.
So you are from Lebanon, is that right?
Yeah.
And how long have you been living in London for?
So 3 years in London. I never
Right.
lived in
Okay.
Lebanon though. I grew up in France, but my
Right.
blood is
Okay.
Lebanese.
Okay. Are you
So the
following?
part in the bio is made up, by the way. I mean, I don't know if it was obvious or not, but
Okay.
yes.
Well, I'm going to come on to your bio in a minute because I've got a really interesting question for you. Um, but yeah, so obviously we're recording this during the World Cup. Are you following France or do you not really? Are you not really into football?
Um, so first of all, I am boycotting the World Cup. I think the
Okay.
whole like Qatar thing is really problematic.
Yeah. Fair
But I
enough.
have to also say that I have not been a huge fan of football, so it's kind of easy. I think maybe if it was a boxing thing and I really wanted to watch, I would have more conflicts. So for me, it's really easy to just
Mm.
boycott it.
Yeah, I think everyone's been a little bit disappointed with. I kind of expected there to be protests or like this, the armbands and all that kind of stuff. It's been very watered down, which has been a shame because it's a big platform. I mean, I know I appreciate that not everyone's into football like yourself, but it is a huge platform to try and highlight those kind of issues, it looks like it's going to be largely lost. which is
And I feel like my understanding was that when they won, they had pledged to be better with human rights by the date of.
sure, yeah, of course, yeah.
So.
Well, there's a really interesting, even if you're not into football, there's a really interesting documentary about FIFA on. There's two actually, one on Amazon Prime and one on Netflix. And it's not just that. I mean, they're voting. There's huge amounts of corruption allegedly for Qatar to win the World Cup, but actually it charts FIFA's evolution, all the way through the 1970s and 80s, and this is by no means the worst sort of thing that FIFA has done in its history.
Really?
Very, yeah, like the Argentinian World Cup in this, I think it's the late 70s, was put on sort of despite the whole country being run by like a military dictatorship, and people were being like thrown out of airplanes like political prisoners, held in some of the stadiums that was actually hosting some of the games. And I think the US.
But I think that is one of the big things. I think stadiums are used for death penalty. So like at 4 p.m. you have a death, and then at 7 you have a game. So it's like the cognitive dissonance is a bit much for me.
Yeah, it's very 1984, isn't it? Yeah, so sorry, I've kind of lost my train of thought. Let's just to change the subject completely. So something I was really interested in when I sort of read your bio that you sent over before. What is the BFP?
The Beagle Freedom Project.
That's right, yeah. Can you talk about that? 'Cause I'd never heard of it. And I went on to yeah, go on.
I hope you donated a little bit.
Okay, I will.
So I used to have a beagle, and obviously like I read a little bit about it, and beagles are the breed that is the most used for animal testing. So mostly it's because they are the right size and very healthy. So like if you get into smaller sizes, depending on what you were bred for, but beagles were bred for hunting, so they didn't like make them look cute and like with squished nose. They made them look healthy and efficient. And they're super nice. They're really, really nice dogs. So like whatever you do to them the next day, you come back in the cage and they're still nice and they're not going to be aggressive towards you. So they are, I think 80% of dogs used in labs are beagles. So of course it's a cause that is dear to my heart.
Do you have a dog?
I used to have a beagle, but she died 2 years ago.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, so have you got any messages for any of your supporters, or maybe a message for Juliana? I take it you and Juliana haven't met yet?
No, we haven't, but we follow each other on social media.
Yeah. So
and like we send some. She's very supportive. It's becoming difficult for me to. I don't want to humanize her too much before we go into the ring.
Yeah. She's very active, and she's quite a bubbly character. I've only met her once. I met her in Germany just after her fight. But yeah, she is super nice.
She looks very nice.
Yeah, she's very nice. She's very nice.
But you can't have those thoughts before. You have to be like.
No, absolutely. And I mean, everybody knows it's not going to, that won't mean anything when she's stepping across that line into the ring.
Yeah.
Have you had any thoughts about your entrance? Have you got anything planned for that, or are you going to keep it quite sort of calm?
I'm doing the Tyson entrance.
Nice.
Just here for business, nothing.
Yeah. Making me feel a bit uncomfortable already.
With the full sleeve tattoo.
Yeah. I've watched a few Mike Tyson entrances and they just make me feel really uncomfortable.
There are some where he doesn't even put music and the only sound are the cheers from the supporters. How cool is that?
That is amazing, yeah. Are you saying that you're not going to have any music at all?
No, I will have music because I don't think I have the the aura and the support that Tyson had.
Yeah, I guess he's probably he built up a bit of fear from several bouts over the years, hasn't he?
Knockouts. several dozens of knockouts. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely petrifying. Well, is there anything else you'd like to say? Do you want to shout out to anybody, or do you want to yeah, I don't know, if you've got anybody you'd like to thank or support, or what would you, have you got anyone else fighting that you're interested in seeing?
But I'm interested in seeing Felix again, definitely. Honestly, everyone, but I don't know which state I'll be in because I'm the last to go in.
Yeah.
And so I think I'll be stressed.
Yeah, we have spoken about this, about managing your nerves, and
I have massive stage fright.
yeah. So you got the opportunity to sign in, get weighed in, and then head out for a couple of hours. So is that something you're planning to do, to try and manage those nerves?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
But then if I'm out, what am I gonna do? I'll probably have a beer. That's not good.
Well, you don't have to have a beer, but I understand your corner man is very into football, which could be a problem.
So I have three corner people.
Okay.
One is into football. He'll probably go watch the thing. Then there's my brother, and my brother is a fantastic corner man.
Okay.
He's very much into boxing. We train together, so he's great.
Nice.
And then I have a friend who was really into being my corner, so he can slap me.
So
which I think is always good for support.
Okay. I'm not sure that's great motivation for picking your corner people, is it? If they want to be your corner,
but he has been a great support. He also is he has been very good support as well.
Okay.
So I'm giving it, like if he all of this support throughout the month is worth a little slap, then yes, I'll
fair
say
enough.
go.
But it's a price worth paying by the sounds of it. You seem more nervous about the kind of the entrance and coming on stage than the actual fight.
Honestly, I think whatever happens, I will be vice champion of Europe. So I think I'm very happy with this.
Okay.
As long as I show up, which is comforting, and ultimately, for me, it's exciting to participate. Like this is you can't really control how the fight goes. And I am excited to finally do it. Like I got through so much preparation last year. Last year, I was really into the chess as well. Like I really worked the chess part because I think she was pretty much my level at the time, Gerdre.
Yeah.
This year is a bit different because I think she's gonna I don't see how I can win, honestly. Unless I knock her out, and I'm very serious about this, by the way. Let's not include it too much in the podcast, but I'm really going to kill her.
Yeah, no, I mean that's you should be thinking like that. I mean, it's easy for me to say, isn't it? But I don't think that her chess is that good. And obviously, I have not played you for a while. I'm only really going on what Matt's telling me, but it's not unthinkable that she could make a mistake. I think you're right. If the game goes to plan and it's a very prosaic chess game, I think she might be able to grind out a result. But if she does make a mistake, and it does happen, I wouldn't write off the chess game, especially if you're doing really on the boxing, honestly. And sometimes, I mean, you never really know if this is the case, but I've seen people you can just tell they just don't want to get in the boxing ring again. They've not been knocked out, but they just don't want to get in the boxing ring again. So they basically just lose the chess game, and that can happen as well. So if you
really,
the more pressure you can put on.
But I found her fight in Antalya, and she lost at the boxing. But I think it's the referee that decided that her corner was like she can continue. She seemed to want to continue as well.
In Italy, I thought did she win in Italy?
In Antalya, in Turkey.
Oh, in Turkey. I've not watched that fight. Yeah. No, I don't know. She when I spoke to her, she had very puffy eyes. I think she was actually quite. I don't think she had concussion, but I think she took a bit of a hiding.
She got hit a lot.
I think so. Yeah. But I have to say I haven't watched that back. But I didn't. Yeah. No one said to me, they were stopped early or anything like that. So perhaps it was a fair. Perhaps it was.
But I mean, I saw the fight, and at the end, basically the referee is like no, and her corner is like, you don't have subtitles, so you don't know
Yeah,
who are they, you know.
yeah, but everyone
Um,
always does that, you know. Even the
yeah,
fighters don't really know. It's only till afterwards because I had a fight where it was stopped, and I wanted to fight on, and then when I look back at it, it should have been stopped earlier.
yeah.
You
No, for
don't
sure.
realize.
I think particularly like when you start being punched, you get high.
Mm,
You're like, and also it's repetition, and you're like, yeah, I can keep going because you're
mm,
turtling up, but you have no counter.
mm. Um, yeah, I'll have a look, but
I can
I
send it to you because like the thing is 1 hour and I cropped it. I can WhatsApp it to you.
oh, thank you, that'd be great. Um, but yeah, I don't, without saying it's hard for me to say, but just because their corner didn't want it stopped doesn't mean it wasn't the right thing to
Yeah,
do. Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
But
okay.
yeah, so I'm definitely going to like I'm really focusing on the boxing. Also because it's less time consuming. Like to improve on chess, you need to study chess. You can't just play,
Mm,
which is a little harder in terms of discipline, obviously.
mm.
And you need like a few hours a day. Whereas boxing, as long as you do like 45 minutes an hour a day, you're good. And you can't like it can't take 5 hours like this is impossible, you know?
Yeah, I think that to also the better you get at chess, the harder it is to get better as well. It's a life. It's almost a life task, isn't it? Like it takes you a whole
Yeah.
life to get to a level in chess. But I wouldn't write the chess off. But honestly, but yeah, anything can happen if you're dominating in the boxing. Don't think you necessarily have to win by knocking her out. Putting enough pressure on her could mean that you'll win in the chess, either because she'll lose, she doesn't want to do another boxing round, or because she'll make a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, okay. Well, I know this little section has been off record, but do you mind if I use some of it because it was kind of a better chat about it was a bit more relaxed when we were talking about Julian. I don't think there's anything in there that's necessarily too.
I want to kill her. Yeah.
Well, you didn't say that, did you? Exactly. But I mean, you're going into a
You,
boxing ring. You should be trying to knock each other out. Like if you're not
yeah.
trying to do that, that is a problem. You know, that is the sport.
Yeah.
That is the sport. Um,
Yeah, and honestly, like I do think yeah, it is and you're right, like either it's a knockout which is ideal for me,
mm,
or either she's concussed, which leads to more blunders, or she's like, as you said, thinking about the boxing while she's playing chess, which is
yeah.
beneficial as well. Like either way, getting really aggressive in the ring is for me the way to go.
Well, also something that I spoke about with Burke, we were talking about impacting the chess rounds with your boxing performances. If you try and if you try and go hard, like with 30 seconds left, like right at the end of the boxing round, because obviously they've got a minute to recover before they play chess. So if you can
Yeah.
really get stuck in just before the chess rounds, you can actually, yeah, you can almost leverage that boxing, the energy in the boxing even more because it's if you do it right before they play chess, it affects them even more.
Yeah.
I mean, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So Toby White does that. He's kind of known for doing like a flurry. Just his corner man
At
will
the
get
end.
it right 20 seconds, and he'll just go in and just absolutely unload on his opponent.
Yeah.
So that's something you might want to think about as well. Yeah. Is it? Yeah, actually. So we're on the eve of the next England game, England against America, the US, sorry, USA. And I'm kind of hoping that England might not win because if they win this game, they might go through as winners of the group, which means they might be playing the same night as the event,
Uh,
which would be a shame. But what can you do? Obviously,
Maybe it will release some tickets.
well, they might do, yeah. And I'm sure I don't know, you've got people who would like them. I'm sure we'll be able to shift
Yeah.
them. So I think the main thing is we don't want people to not turn up. So if they've got a ticket, it'd be better for them for us to
Release them.
buy it
Yeah.
back off them and then give it
Yeah.
to someone else. We want we want the event to be full, don't we? We want the venue to be full to have that atmosphere. But you know, let's cross that bridge when we get to it. I'm sure we'll be able to sort something out. I know it's going to be a great atmosphere. It always is at Christmas. And we've got quite a few things, Christmas sort of things planned. So very excited about that. But yeah, I mean, well, thanks very much for fighting, Marie. I know obviously it was very disappointing for everybody not to see you fighting earlier in the year. We've got a couple of reserves for this event. So we'll definitely.
I know. I saw you. You didn't get one. You got two. Like,
there you go. You know,
excellent. Thank you, Gavin.
I'm bloody great. Thank you very much. So yeah, we're really looking forward to seeing you fight. So seeing Juliana fight, and looking forward to seeing a female bout. And in fact, I'm working on another female bout potentially for the March event. So, you know, it'd be really nice to get at least one female bout, maybe even a couple in March, and try and bring a bit of balance to the sport, because you know people want to see women fighting in the chess boxing ring. So, thank you very much for coming on the podcast as well.
Thank you so much, Gavin.
There's no problem at all. If you want to get tickets, as we've discussed, you can't because they're sold out. But we might have some late releases. What I suggest you do is subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Chessboxing. YouTube.com/chessboxing. Follow us on social media. If we do have any spare tickets, we'll obviously let you know via social media. And yeah, thanks very much, Marie. And I'll look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks in the ring. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Gavin. Bye.